Let's talk just a little bit about what I call voice of customer research. It's something that has come up in all of my presentations this year. It's woven into it, whether or not it's part of the presentation or whether or not it comes up in conversation later as a tool in order to accomplish certain objectives inside of our business. And it actually is really helpful. It's one of those simple things that you can do inside of your business that very few other people in the industry are doing right now, but yet you can actually leverage the insights from this in multiple different places across your business. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Most business owners think that they know their customers. Most business owners think that they know their employees. But what if the assumptions that you're making about your market and the team that you're trying to build are actually costing you contracts, costing you employees, and they're costing you millions in revenue? In the construction and the pavement industry, the equipment industry that also serves us, losing a bid, losing a buyer by just a few points or dollars can mean missing out on a multi-year high value project. Yet many companies are losing not because the price or the quality, but because they don't actually understand what their customers really and truly want. The gap is draining revenue and is creating these huge blind sites inside of our business, the kind that push contracts towards competitors, that push equipment towards our competitors' options instead. The good news, customers have the answers. You just need to ask the right way. And our employees have the answers when it comes to recruiting a workforce. We just have to ask the right questions. So here's the dangerous real cost of guesswork. The numbers are actually telling this story. This is not an assumption. 80% of companies believe they deliver a great customer experience, a great product or a great service. But the truth is only 8% of customers actually agree with that sentiment. The numbers are completely similar when we look at workforce as well. Even worse, misunderstanding the needs of our customers or employee can slash revenue by up to 35% and decrease productivity by up to 40%. Why is this happening? We're pitching the wrong solutions. We're, explaining or showing the wrong opportunity for a career path. You're missing emotional triggers that are driving decision makers, both for the clients that we're trying to bring in business development activities and also that we're trying to hire to bring on and build the teams that we need to thrive. You're losing trust because you don't sound like you actually get it, like you really are inside of their heads. So imagine if your competition does sound like they're inside of their heads. They do get it. That really puts you at a disadvantage. Customers don't just buy based on specifications and price, and employees don't just join based on the salary. They buy from teams they trust to make lives easier. They join teams that they want to be part of because it makes their life better. If your messaging doesn't reflect the real fears, frustrations, and priorities, then you're losing before you even get started. So what is voice of customer? It's real answers from real customers. It's real insights from real employees, just like the ones that you want to hire more of. Voice of customer research is not another generic survey. It's a deep dive into our customers' world, listening, not guessing, to unlock what really truly drives every single decision that they're making as it relates to buying our products and services, working with us, joining our teams, all of the things that are essential to make sure we're growing strong businesses. This method uncovers raw, honest insights that reveal your customers' actual value most and what's driving them crazy, or what the deal breakers are that we need to make sure we're aware of. When you speak their language, you close more deals. When we speak their language, we attract the best workforce, the workforce that's going to hit productivity faster, the workforce that is going to really make the rest of the team around them thrive and be happier at work too, the right kind that's going to stay with us and maybe even recruit more just like them. So how to use voice of customer research to win more bids. Let's talk about this example right here. We're going to stay on the client side. And I might allude to some ideas about how it may transfer over to workforce as well. But we're primarily going to focus on business development. So we want to start with the right prep. We want to define your high value customer segments. Who are the segments that you get the most value from working from? Then you want to really interview, grab some of those people, bring them in for interviews, and ask open-ended, problem-focused questions. Avoid yes/no traps. This is not going to help your research at all. You really want to dig into the problem-focused questions. You want to create a comfortable and non-sales environment so customers feel free to open up. Sometimes it works better if it is not your sales team conducting these interviews. I highly recommend that you stay away from that so they feel like they're really adding value to you. They're almost partnering and engaging with you, but there's no pressure about sales or hurting anybody's feelings at this point. So the next step is to master the interview process. You need to be listening 80% of the time and only talking 20% of the time. Get the emotion behind their frustration, not just the facts. So when they're just giving facts, you need to dig deep. Ask follow-up questions like, tell me more about that. Why was that so frustrating to you? And how did that impact your project's timeline, your budget, whatever it was that is that they start to really talk about as that primary superficial pain point. Then we want to dig in deeper and figure out, how did that impact? How did they feel about what were the downstream effects for their business? How did that make them look? How did that make them feel? All of those kinds of things are incredible insights, and they will start giving you the language that you need. Then, third, you need to turn feedback into action. Look for patterns across those interviews. And these days, there's all kinds of great technology to help us do this. Don't get stuck on one in particular complaint, but look for themes. And the more you're doing this, if you turn this into a process inside of your company and you're doing this on a regular basis, then you can really identify themes and start leaning into those. And they're going to actually start influencing the strategic planning and the objectives that you're laying out on an annual basis, as well as really giving you the tools for your marketing, your sales conversation, your customer service, all of those other things. Map your pain points to your sales and your marketing strategy. So, are you really tying those things together? Are you taking time to make sure that your team is aware of those? They know what the alignment is and how to position your product or service to address those pain points. So take what you learn and actually map it so you can physically see the correlation and know that you're building and using tactics that drive towards success. And then also, whenever possible, use the exact words in your proposals, in your messaging, in stations, in your videos, in your marketing collateral, in your social, and definitely on your website. All of these things we could go through and talk about as it relates to workforce as well. As a matter of fact, let's just take the time right now to do that. If we go back to number 1, start with the right prep, right? Define your highest value workforce segments. Who are those groups of people that your business really needs? And within those groups, who are your highest performers? Pull those ones out and do those interviews with them. Ask, once again, open-ended, problem-focused questions. Stay away from yes and no. What were they looking for in a job when they first applied? What were their motivations to say no to other jobs? Why have they stayed with this company versus another company? What are the current challenges that they're facing outside of work right now? What do they like most about working there? What do they like least? These are great things to really inform this. And then once again, create that comfortable non-sales environment, right? Maybe it's not your HR department that's doing this, or it's not their direct bosses for sure. So find somebody that's neutral enough that the employee is going to feel free that they can open up. This is why sometimes it's really helpful to have a third party involved in this process, somebody who is trained in this process. Number 2, if we're focusing on workforce, if we go back to mastering that interview process, a lot of this is the same. Listen 80% of the time, talk 20% or less, and get the emotions behind their frustrations. We know, and research bears out, that people make decisions based on emotion, not just the external factors. It's those internal ones that really drive decisions. Dig deep, ask follow-up questions. Tell me more about that. Why was this so frustrating to you? And how did that impact your decision to take a job, to leave a job in the past? All of those kinds of things are where the insights really happen. And as this relates to workforce, for step 3, turn feedback into action. Look for patterns across those interviews, especially where you've grouped certain types of employees together, right? If you have crews, if you have supervisor segments, and then you have office staff support segments, or mechanic repair maintenance segments, group those together and look for themes. Don't focus on one specific thing, even though those are important insights and that's where we can find some insight. Make sure you start by looking at the themes. That's what really needs to drive the main activities and resource allocation. And map their pain points to the efforts that you're employing in terms of job descriptions, onboarding processes and systems, creating referral processes inside of your business, creating career path opportunities. The opportunities here to find ideas to integrate into your business are endless. And use their exact words when it comes to job descriptions and messaging. This is going to make your job descriptions, your job postings sound completely different than anything else. And that may make you nervous at first. And that's how you know you're doing it right. It will be incredible when you have job descriptions that just look completely 180 degrees different than anything else, but they really resonate and they're hitting home and they feel like you're inside their brain. So stop telling your customers what they think, what you think they need, and start showing them what you heard them tell you exactly what they wanted. Same thing with our workforce. Stop telling them what they want in a career and start showing them exactly what they've already told you they want in a career. All right, let's talk about a specific scenario where this customer voice of customer process worked incredibly well. In this example, we're going to focus on workforce, but we're taking it to a really high level. Proven impact for Texas Asphalt Pavement Association. When Texas Asphalt Pavement Association members were facing workforce challenges shortage, the association itself decided that they wanted to take this on behalf of the industry and be part of that solution and have it be another layer of value that they were actually adding to their members. So using voice of customer research, what we did for them is we uncovered hidden motivators behind the workforce decisions. We built recruitment strategies that actually resonated, and we developed a statewide workforce development program. It was so dialed in fact, that the DOT and AGC Texas ended up joining, and they have a statewide initiative that all 3 associations partner on, and a board of directors currently running. We were able to create messaging that spoke directly to the real concerns and got results. The videos, the content, the strategies to go in and partner with school and education, and to partner with education facilities has been incredible. The result is a total shift in how the industry attracts talent, and they actually have a physical pipeline that is sending leads and workers directly from those top funnels all the way down, and they're actually applying on the websites of the members of those associations, coming directly through those efforts. So really incredible thing as well. The members of that association are able to take those resources and use them themselves for their own businesses. So it's really been an incredible experience and something that we are thrilled to see the success of, and it couldn't have been done without voice of customers. Some of the early things that they experimented with, even with great videographers and great digital agencies, were completely missing the mark and making the whole brand feel uncomfortable across the board. So this was really getting it dialed in, and the success has been tremendous. Your customers have the answers. Are you listening? Your workforce has the answers already. Understanding your customers and your workforce isn't a one-time project. It's an ongoing business advantage. What your customers are really thinking about their pricing and process and service. What your employees are really thinking about the team that they work with, what it's like to be part of that brand, and if they're willing to actually recruit in. How many bids are you losing because you're guessing instead of knowing? And how many of the best employees are you missing out on because, once again, you're guessing, you don't really know. So stop assuming and start knowing. If you're ready to stop losing bids, if you're ready to attract the best talent inside of you, driven by what your customers and your employees actually would not want and need, let's make sure that we talk. Make sure you reach out to us at storybuilt.marketing. Schedule a call to talk to us about your specific challenges and how voice of customer research might be exactly what you need to launch that next product, to really dial in your current market position and win more work, or how it's going to make you the best, most sought after place to work in the industry in your marketplace.